But it's hard to do that, it takes a long time.
So hopefully, I know there was working on it, or I don't quite, I gotta admit, I missed some of those emails, but hopefully one day we're gonna have those, some equivalent of those like swivel chairs and on wheels that you said? Is that in the works, sort of, or?
One can only hope.
One can only hope.
They're helpful.
In the meantime, if you can turn yourselves enough that you can see what the other group shares as they share that with us. So first of all, over here on this side of the room, Group A, well, they're going to share it with us. Group A, your answer to the STEM was successful students make a choice to what?
Make your education a priority so that you might endure the hardships you will encounter as a student.
Make your education a priority so that you might endure the hardships that you will encounter as a student. Anybody in this group, why did you feel like that was the single most important choice?
It's general enough to cover, buy your books, show up to class, all the things which would be under ideas of priority.
Ask for help, we have that thing. Be
So,
proactive.
and I think there's great this idea that sometimes when we give advice to students, or at least I'll talk about in my experience, that if I share an idea with them, a lot of times they're looking for the ways that there's not overlap. So, well, that doesn't apply to me. So the idea of the choice is broad enough, it covers a lot of different experiences that our students have. Group B, your answer to the STEM, successful students make a choice to commit.
Similar to priority.
What does it mean to make a choice to commit? Why is that so important?
Well, we figured it covered all of the things of participation, to be disciplined, to prepare, to ask questions, go above and beyond, organize. I mean, it covers everything. Once you're committed, you're going to make that your goal.
So once you're committed, all these other behaviors and choices are going to sort of
They
flow.
follow.
If you know that I'm there for a particular reason.
Even in the face of disappointment and failure.
Mm-hmm. So the ability to regroup because you're committed, you have a certain goal in mind. But in that case, of course, the student is making a choice rather than just sort of like falling into higher education, right? I don't really know why I'm here. I think we've all had those conversations with students. Group C, your answer to the STEM, successful students make a choice to
Be proactive learners.
be proactive learners. What does that mean and why is that so important?
It's kind of the main idea. You can have a lot of stuff fall under it, but they basically need to be responsible for their own learning, come to class, take notes, review the notes after class. So they need to come to class with the intent of actually learning and processing the material.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than reacting after, like, if you're going to be absent, you're doing what you need ahead of time, rather than coming back and doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Or did I miss anything?
Did I miss anything?
I love, did I miss anything and did I miss anything important? Always important. But you missed something. It didn't matter. We just sat around for 2 hours. We wondered where you were. Yeah, we watched some friends on it.
Didn't do anything.
Finally, Group D, your answer to the STEM, successful students make a choice to?
Successful students make a choice to successfully manage their time. Then Shirley joined our group, and we realized that we did settle on one bullet point. That's just one aspect of student success, right? So I like the other groups hitting it kind of in a more broad space. But then we didn't change it. We thought about changing it, but we settled on it because it's a pretty important part of being proactive, right?
So what is the connection? Why did you originally settle on this as such an important choice?
This was originally the thing that I came up with, and because I noticed, okay, when we say this, right, successful students make a choice. I realized that there is a difference between just a successful student and an intelligent student. I love my intelligent students that come to class and they can contribute to the discussion, but sometimes those same students won't turn in the work and they won't be successful. They're smart enough to be successful, but something's keeping them from doing the work. And I always realize I had this discussion with them, and you're probably waiting until the night before. What are you doing? Start earlier. And so I find that this one thing alone for me, and it seemed like the group seemed to agree, is such an integral part of students being, like, actually succeeding through the process of college.
And just to kind of build on that as a little anecdote, in the on-course text that I use actually is one of my key texts in English 1A, students go through and can build schedules of not only what they want to do, but looking at how they're spending their time currently. And I had one student last spring who started off this semester kind of in the D range, not doing such good work, and a key aha moment or insight for her was when she wrote down what she was doing all week and realized that she was hanging out with her friends 20 hours a week, 20 plus hours a week. And by cutting that down to a reasonable, I think, 5 or 6, which is actually more than I want to say the first time. Sorry, I'm sort of introvert. She ended up rallying and doing really well and getting sort of a high B in the class.
Awesome.
And so it wasn't anything to do with her inability to do the class or the task. It was simply that giant space of time, that giant hunk of time, but she hadn't been accustomed to it. That was her habit, how much time she was spending with her friends. And to look at that a little metacognitively helped her.
Yeah, Will, just to tag onto that, I like to read about the biographies of the students of the month.
Mhm.
And it's often, these are very, very busy students. They don't have a lot of free time on their hands,
Sure.
but they manage their time.
They manage the
so
time.
damn well that
Mhm.
they go above and beyond the other students in the class.
That's the one I see the most, is that they, even if they're strapped, they're not necessarily using their time wisely, that they do have. And I commute to Los Banos on a bus often, and I would catch my students on the bus with me, and I'd stare at them until they got their homework done. It's like, yeah, you have Wi-Fi, you have everything you need. And now, get it done. So it's definitely time.
So we need bus monitors for student success.
The student success manager.
So that means we win then, right?
Gina, if you want to join
Thank
them
you
over
so
here.
much. I appreciate letting me come after my class. Sorry.
So talking about the experiences or ideas as a transition here that our students bring to college, like not managing their time, the next question we'll be considering for our subsequent activity here, to what degree is student success or lack thereof based on their past experiences and their ingrained beliefs? And for that, if you could please turn to the handout, can we be trained to lose and then learn to win? Which looks like this.
Oh, Steve is good.
Now let's see if my movie clip works here. It's going to be ironic if the advisor of the film club can't get hidden. Thank you. Here's a clip, just a brief one, a couple minutes from the movie Seabiscuit from 2003.
He was the son of Hardtack, sired by the mighty Man-O-War, but the breeding did little to impress anyone at Claiborne Farms. At 6 months, he was shipped off to train with the legendary trainer Sonny Fitzsimmons, who, over time, developed a similar opinion of the horse.
Got a racehorse or a lead pony?
The judgment wasn't helped by his gentle nature. Where his sire had been a fierce, almost violent competitor, Seabiscuit took to sleeping for huge chunks of the day and enjoyed lolling for hours under the boughs of the juniper trees.
Conserving energy.
Yeah, great.
His other great talent was eating. Though half the size of other colts, Seabiscuit could frequently eat twice as much. Fitzsimmons decided the horse was lazy and felt sure he could train the obstinance out of him.
I want you to hit him as many times as you can over a quarter of a mile.
When he didn't improve, they decided the colt was incorrigible. They made him a training partner to better horses, forcing him to lose head-to-head duels to boost the confidence of the other animal. By the time he was 3 years old, Seabiscuit was struggling in 2 cheap claiming races a week. Soon he grew as bitter and angry as his sire Hardtack had been. He was sold for the rock-bottom price of $2,000. And of course, it all made sense. Champions were large. They were sleek. They were without imperfection. When they finally did race him, he did just what they had trained him to do. He lost.
Okay, if you could just take a moment and find a partner, and it can be within your group, but preferably not the same partner you had if you were here to do the guided pair conversation. So find a different person that you haven't worked with